Hey guys, it's Chase here on Gemmy Master Animatronics, and today what I have for you is the Magic Power 5 foot tall, life-size animated Butler with skull tray, or Butler with skull on platter is what it says in the box. This is an item that I got about a week ago locally, along with a lot of other items. Not necessarily for myself. I do have a few things from the lot, some of the more notable cool things from there, but most of it I picked up for other people. But this is one of the things that came from the lot, and all of these items came from this weird selling bidding website that was near me, and I have never heard of it before, but it was a Virginia just bidding or selling page. It was very weird. It's nothing that I've ever used before or anything like it. But the website was sent to me by a friend of mine. He basically found the link on Marketplace, which for quite some time you could see it on there because everything was available, I think, for the past like 8 days for bidding. Like that's how long it gave you to bid on these. So the listing was on Marketplace for quite some time, and that's how he found it. You know, of course, he was snooping around in my area. But he contacted me saying, hey, can you pick up these items for me? I'm going to bid on them. I'm like, okay, well, hold on. These are near me, so let me make sure there's nothing that I would want from here. And there were a lot of good stuff. And I did pick up a majority of the props that were on the bidding website. There were like one or two really good ones that we didn't end up getting. But, you know, I and my friend got the most notably good ones, especially me. I got the ones that I really wanted, which is great. There were a few other ones that I wanted, but it was kind of like, you know, he had already told other people that he was going to be pick or have somebody pick them up for him. I wasn't really going to try and argue with it. I wish that, you know, there were some of the other items I could have gotten, but if I wanted to get them, I would basically be bidding against my friend, and then, you know, that would have cost me more money, and I didn't really want to do that. And so I just kind of got the items that I, you know, said that these are the ones I absolutely, you know, would need to get, and then I'll pick them up for him. So I got those ones. So I got him a 2008 Did I Drake, which I cannot wait to review for you guys. It is so cool. I'm working on the board a little bit. It has a sound issue that I'm working on, but it is just in beautiful shape. It's got the box too. It is so freaking cool. So I got him, the guy I have in front of you, and then a Distortions Rocking Granny, which I do have the audio for. I might do a review on that. Maybe. We'll see. Now, with this item, I did not actually win the bid on this. I was bidding on a few items, along with a Quivering Doorman and a 2000 and I think 8 it was Did I Drake with box. I ended up winning the Drake, and I will do a review on him soon. I really can't wait to review that because he is just so cool. But I did not win the bid on Quivering Doorman, and I did not win the bid on the Butler that I have in front of you guys right now. The reason I have it is because I actually ended up meeting up with the people who had won the bid on this Butler, along with a lot of other stuff. And they also won the Quivering Doorman. So I saw them outside, and I was like, hey, you know, I was also bidding on this Butler here. I, you know, didn't end up increasing my max bid or anything. I just kind of forgot about it. But if it's something you want to sell, let me know. And they were like, oh yeah, no, let me go ahead and talk to, you know, so-and-so. And because there were a few people from that lot there that, you know, came to pick up all these items. Well, they did not end up having enough room for everything that they had purchased. And so they were like, hey, I don't know what we ended up paying for this. I think it was like $80, so we'll let you take it for that. They go through like papers, and then they figured out what they actually paid for it, and then I was able to take it for exactly what they paid. Plus, they took like $20 off because I helped them load some stuff into their truck. So I got this, I think, for like $60, which, you know, is awesome. So that's the story with that. I wasn't really supposed to get this item. I was bidding on it, but I did not win. But everything kind of ended up working in my favor. I somehow scheduled my time the same exact time that they were there. So it all just kind of worked out, blindly. So I'm very happy that everything worked out how, it was. With the Quivering Doorman, I really tried to get that one off of them. I was like, the guy with the candelabra, I would love to get that one too. I'll pay you, extra for it, whatever. And unfortunately, the lady that had won the bid, she said no, she doesn't want to sell it because she wanted to turn it into a Beetlejuice, completely repaint the face and everything on it. And I was like, no, don't do that. But at the end of the day, they won, so I can't really say anything. But I was like, if you change your mind, here's my number, just let me know. So I think currently it's being, repainted and everything, which is a shame because it was in very good shape. It had the box. And Quivering Doormans are not too easy to come by anymore. There's a one on eBay, I think, but the face on it's a little bit yellowed. Or at least it's not as white as it's supposed to be. And the hair is kind of messed up on it. And the overall price is just not very good. So, oh well. But enough about the story. So that's how I got this Butler. It was about like an hour drive. And I picked up a lot of cool stuff that I can't wait to review for you guys. But yes, this Butler is made by Magic Power. He stands about 5 feet tall, which is a lot shorter than I thought he was. I initially thought that he was like 6 foot tall, like the collapsible life-size characters that they ended up doing. But he's not. He's still a pretty good height though. 5 feet for a male character is a little odd, but I guess he's supposed to be a hunchback character. On the box itself, he doesn't look too hunched over. He's about the same in person. But the Sam's Club model of him, the stock image on that box, he is very hunched over and everything. So I think that's how they wanted him to look. But the later model, which this one's the one that was sold at Spirit Halloween, he's not really as hunched. I don't think any of them were like as hunched as the Sam's Club one was supposed to look, but these ones are the later ones, so they definitely are not as hunched as it was on the older models. So this one has a defect on it. The nose on the skull and the tray is not painted. I initially thought that these were filled in with like paper or something, like black cardboard paper or whatever, but it ended up being paint. And Magic Power released the skull on the tray, like this, just the skull by itself that you can buy, but the paint is a little bit different on it. And I'm not going to attempt to paint the nose or anything because I know I'm not going to be able to match the paint in the eyes, so I'm going to leave it as is. It really does suck that it's missing the nose detail, but it doesn't look that bad. I mean, it's not... I don't really like the look of it, but it doesn't look that bad. But yeah, this is a Butler that I've been wanting for quite some time now, at least for the past, I would say, 2-3 years. I've always liked this one, but for the past 3 years I've been just looking at getting one. But unfortunately, for whatever reason, this Butler, I don't know why, it goes for a lot on eBay, like $300. I mean, well, it doesn't go for that. You've got idiots on eBay that are listing it for that. And even broken ones are still being listed for that. It's actually insane. That and Mercaria, people were not very reasonable with this Butler. And he's always in such terrible shape too. I always see the head on him. It's either yellow or the skull is yellowed, or he just doesn't do anything, and he still goes for a lot of money for some reason. But this being the Spirit Halloween model, I would imagine this one's the more hard to find model. But I don't think that there's many differences between the different ones that were made around those years. Because I know that he was sold at a few different places. So I think that they were all the same, but that this is just the one that was sold at Spirit with a different box. Not too much going on the box art. He's only got the picture on one side, and then on the rest of the sides, it's just the info on him. But it does actually have the amount that were made, what does it say? Carton. 179 of 300, so this is the 179th model, or not model, but the unit that was made. But I'll kind of show the box later on. So he's got 2 animations on him. He's got, it's just mouth movement. He's got mouth movement on his head, and then mouth movement for the skull. That's about it. He is a pull-based character. He's not collapsible like the other Magic Power items, unfortunately. That would have been cool. And I mean, he's not very tall, but for him being a male character, but it's a butler, it's okay. I mean, it's the fact that he's hunched back. I think that's the reason why he's so short. But he's still a very good size for being a butler, because if you're gonna have kids coming up and getting candy, you're gonna want to have like a shorter character so they can actually reach on the tray and everything. And then he's got some nice costume details, but the fabric on it is not the best material. It's pretty cheap, but it's magic power. It's the classic materials and everything that they were using back in the day. So there's a few different models of this. There's the one I have in front of you, and then there's a short version that still has mouth movement, but the skull does not have mouth movement. It's just a completely molded skull, with the mouth molded to the actual upper part itself. And it has different phrases. Phrases that I actually almost like more than this one. So it's a shame that they didn't use more phrases on this, because the short one has a lot of phrases. And it's more funny than it is serious. This one I think is a little bit more serious. But the short one it's got the same voices. So I think that if those two audios were combined on this one character, it would have been awesome. But this one only has about, I think, 4 phrases, but they are still very much Halloweeny and overall very cool. So there's the short version of this, and then there's a storytelling one where he holds a candelabra and he's got a crow on his shoulder, and he tells a Halloween story. It's like a short phrase, and then he asks if anybody wants to eat his raven. It's a cool one. I would love to own that one too. But this is the one I liked out of the 2 butlers that were made. But then there was one made where he's got more of a, I don't know if you call it realistic or cartoony, but he's got this flexible PVC or soft PVC mask with the moving mouth. It's the same face that was used on the ventriloquist, and it just looks awful. I hate that sculpt so much. It just doesn't look good. So I much prefer having this model, with the plastic face. But I think that's about all there is to say about him from afar. So I will go up close and kind of show you all what's going on with him. I've kind of, talked my head off already with, the whole story and everything. And I've already cut the video like a bunch of different times. I don't have to edit everything together to make it more short. But yeah, I will show it up close. Alright guys, so here he is. Like a few of the things that I've been reviewing lately, there's not too much to go over, like up close. But he's got some different materials going on, a lot of great detail on the face and the skull, so I will try to go over that. But yeah. So starting with the head, he's just got the classic, magic power face. I mean, this was used on a lot of butlers, the small ones too. Now I don't know if the small butlers had the same size face. I think that they did. This is not a very large head. It's, pretty medium size, so it could be used on smaller and big items, which was, definitely a smart, or I guess safe bet on Magic Power's part. And he is a bobblehead, so you can see he does kind of go up and down. Now, to my knowledge, you cannot remove the head. It didn't come to me removed. I haven't really, inspected too much. But I mean, you can see it's glued right here and everything. So I'm just going to assume that you can't remove it. But he fits in the box, very nicely, so you don't really even need to. He's got some very soft hair. It would get very frizzy, or not really frizzy, but kind of like go all over the place, in the wind. But I like to kind of have it brushed down like this. It's just like old man hair. And it actually is airbrushed on the side right here to make it a little bit brown, which is nice. I like the little detail on the hair, and it goes all the way back. And of course the top of him is just bald. This is a very nice plastic. It's very thick mold, and it's very detailed too. You can see like all the detail on the nose right there, like all the lines in the forehead and everything. Obviously this is not like life cast or anything, so this was a definitely something that was sculpted. So props to the sculptor, I guess, because it does look very nice. And the eyes they look cheap, but they are, again, the classic Magic Power looking eyes. I mean, they don't look realistic at all, but I still like that it is, of course, separate from the mold. So it's not like, painted on or anything. He's got this creepy cloth tie, which looks awesome. There were a few items produced with a creepy cloth tie like this. It's more of like a bluish type creepy cloth. It's like a dark, not really dark, but I mean like it's like a greenish blue, like the color of the ocean, I guess you could say, which looks cool because it looks like it's a little bit moldy, like green mold. And then his suit itself is all sewn together, like this. The material is like sewn to this, which is good because then it won't really come. It won't come undone. Like it'll always keep this shape, and you can see it. It's excuse me. It's glued right here. It's come undone, so I need to glue that back. But this side is still perfectly fine. It's just something that happens over the time with the glue because it gets brittle. His sensor is right here, and this was actually not on the character. Ooh, yeah, it's not anymore. Well, the sensor is supposed to be right here, and sometimes it'll be popped out. There's this metal piece right here. It does not like to grip onto it very nicely because it's broken right there. I'm just realizing. That's not good, but I can glue it, so it'll be fine. And then the skull right here, you can see where he's missing the paint. It looks like they tried to put a little bit here, but overall just decided against it for some reason. But the paint on here, you know, is very lightly brushed on. It's nothing like super thick. But I think it looks cool like that because you can still see a little bit of this color behind the black, which looks nice. And you can see he's got a sensor right here. This has nothing to do with the character here. It does not utilize this. It's just the same mold that was used on the regular talking skulls that Magic's Power released. And then he's got a tray, which, I mean, I know it's a tray. I don't really think it's intended to put candy on there. I mean, you've really got no lip whatsoever. It's not a very big tray. It's just kind of like an oval shape. So there's not too much room to put candy on here. Like you would be refilling it like after like 3 trick-or-treaters, so there's not too much room on there. So I really just think this was meant to just be a skull on a platter and nothing more than that. He's got some great detail on the hands. They're painted exactly like Heads Up Harry, but I don't know what mold this was used on. I mean, probably a pretty common mold, but it's different than the life-size characters, the collapsible ones. So this might have been a later mold, I'm not sure. And then underneath the tray, he's got a not painted hand. It's just, you know, regular plastic, and then a lot of grooves underneath there. So it doesn't look the best, but you're not going to be able to see it. At least he's got the sculpted nails and everything. And this is right here is where, you know, he gets power to the skull. It's this basically an aux jack, and it just plugs in right to his hand, right there. And then his hand comes disconnected. You can just pull it out. So the tray does disconnect from the hand, or not the hand. Sorry, the arm. And then he's got it's a soft, almost like pajama pants material, like this, but these are both very fuzzy, but they're different materials. And then he's got the classic Magic Power boots, and he's just pull based like this. They're about the same thickness as the life-size Walmart Dancing Santas, or at least the ones that they were making back in like 2016, like those thick poles. So, you know, he stands up very nicely. He's not gonna like lean over or anything. One thing I did forget, or 2 things I forgot to mention. He has a completely stuffed back right here. It's all, you know, stuffing. And then when he came to me, he was actually fully working aside from the skull. I did not have to do any repairs to the skull. It's just the mouth was not moving. But I figured, you know, I don't hear the motor running, so it's not fried because the eyes are lighting up. So I let it run, you know, a few times, and the skull, like, mouth was like twitching like that, and then eventually, you know, got to being open like this. And this is string controlled, so you can't just like open this up and expect the motor to move. It doesn't work like that. So you have to just kind of let it correct itself over time, and it will, but it's still probably slightly locked up, but not nearly as much as it was. It wasn't even moving before. Here's the lot sticker. You can see right there. This was 107. And then this is basically the box art right here. You can see the Spirit Halloween sticker right there. On the side here, it's got the information. Again, this is 179 of 300. Now, from the wiki, Spirit Wiki, it says that this was sold from like 2011 to 2014. I don't think he was made for that long. I think that Spirit just had overstock of him, so he was used, or he was just on the website for that long because people weren't buying him. So Spirit might have only gotten 300 of these, which is cool. I do wonder who got like, you know, number 1 or number 2, or who got the last 300 one. That'd be cool. You can see the box is a little bit beat up, but it does say Spirit right there. It's got the label, which I will now have to... Or no, they're selling the home, so it doesn't even matter at this point. But yeah, so that's the up close with him. And I will go ahead and activate him for you guys. Okay, so I'm actually going to plug this one in like on camera, because he starts going off as soon as he's plugged in, oddly enough. So I'll have him plugged in and he'll do his first phrase. Okay, why are you not going off? Uh-oh.
Welcome. I do so hope you'll be joining us for dinner. Why don't you mention who's on the menu? I don't want to ruin the surprise.
Okay guys, so I got him plugged in now. It already skipped over his one phrase, because as soon as you plug him in, he does a phrase. Although sometimes I've had it where you have to actually trip the sensor to get him to go off, like when you plug him in. Sometimes he'll go off immediately, sometimes he won't. It's very weird. But I will go ahead and play his phrases.
I'm so happy you've come by. It's been so long since we've had guests. We survived the night.
The mouth movement on the skull on mine is definitely less obnoxious than they usually are. It's not squeaky and it's not hitting the bottom of the plate.
Would you care for a drink? I highly recommend the Master's Vintage Arsenic. It exhibits a sensational bouquet of almonds, followed by notes of cedar, birchwood, and excruciating death. Please, allow me to take your coat. I suspect that very soon you won't be needing it anymore. Greetings. Come in. Please, make yourself at home. Don't mind the open grave. We'd let you know if it was for you. I'm sorry. The Master isn't home right now. I think you better leave before he gets back. That is, only if you'd like to remain amongst the living. Welcome. I do so hope you'll be joining us for dinner. Why don't you mention who's on the menu? I don't want to ruin the surprise.
I like the phrases where they talk back and forth. Like, it's not just ending with the skull. Like, it goes from the guy to the skull to the guy. I think it's very neat when it's like that. But that was all his phrases. I'll go through them one more time. Like I said, there's not too much animation going on with him or anything like that. He does have a lot more phrases than I thought he did. That was at least like 6, maybe 7. I wasn't really counting, but it was a lot. I didn't remember it being a lot, but playing it again, it actually is quite a bit of phrases, which is awesome. I always love it when items have a lot of phrases to say, especially Halloween ones.
I'm so happy you've come by. It's been so long since we've had guests. We survived the night. Would you care for a drink? I highly recommend the Master's Vintage Arsenic. It exhibits a sensational bouquet of almonds, followed by notes of cedar, birchwood, and excruciating death. Please, allow me to take your coat. I suspect that very soon you won't be needing it anymore. Greetings. Come in. Please, make yourself at home. Don't mind the open grave. We'd let you know if it was for you. I'm sorry. The Master isn't home right now. I think you better leave before he gets back.
So yeah, guys, that's all his phrases. Really hope you guys enjoyed. I love this piece. I think he's great. I will be doing more reviews soon, I promise. I've been very busy lately. I'm going to try and knock a few more out maybe this week. It won't be uploaded this week, but I'll try to do a few more, and then I'll kind of be set for a little bit, because I'll do a lot of reviews at one time and then slowly upload them, like kind of schedule them out. But yeah, really hope you guys enjoyed. I love this piece. I definitely recommend one if you can find one. And I will see you guys in the next time.